Hello friends, this is Chandrakant from Akulmac Technologies. Welcome to Top Brass. And today our segment is CEO Roundtable. Let me invite our guest today. First, very senior person joining us from UK. His name is Naval Gunt and he is the CEO of Mindfit Limited. Welcome to CEO Roundtable, Naval.
Thanks very much, CK. Good morning, everybody. Look forward to a great discussion.
Certainly. And our guest number 2 is Ms. Farida Charania. She is the CEO of Career Zoom. She joins us from Singapore. Welcome to CEO Roundtable, Farida.
Thank you, CK. Excited to have this discussion with everyone.
Yes, we are also looking forward to it. And our next guest is Ms. Kanchan Verma. She is the CEO of Akulmac Technologies and she joins us from India.
Thank you, CK, and everybody. Hi, everybody. How everybody is doing today?
Everybody is fine. And I think the topic of discussion today is, we have been, in fact, all countries are undergoing the COVID-19 situation where almost entire world is under lockdown. There are do's and don'ts defined by WHO, which are followed by all countries. So literally, we have not seen in the recorded history of mankind that such a unprecedented lockdown has been imposed on the entire earth. And because of this situation, the real pandemic is actually creating havoc on the mankind. People have already lost a lot of jobs. And I think the discussion point is many jobs have been lost already, but it is not over. We are not expecting the vaccine before December this year, if everything goes right. I think the leader is Oxford University, so we will see how it goes. But I think this pandemic is here, we are undergoing it, and people are losing jobs, which is adding to the pain. So let me first invite Mr. Naval Gunt to address this issue, what people should do, because I think it's a reality. People are losing jobs and all kinds of new opportunities are available, but they are not visible. So what is your take on this situation?
Well, we're in an interesting arena. If I have a penny for every time I've heard unprecedented times, I'd be a millionaire because they are unprecedented. But that doesn't mean to say that we shouldn't be thinking about doing the best things we can. And what we've got in the global arena currently, and I'm not just talking about job seekers, I'm talking about businesses that are employing, governments that are trying to sort things out. But we've got 3 types of actions that people are taking, 3 different behaviours. Surprisingly, there's a large number of people in denial. In other words, yes, COVID's happened, so that's a tick, but it's going to go back to normal. Eventually, the virus will have a vaccine, and in a few months, maybe early next year now, things will go back to normal. That's one group. Another group is in complete chaos. They don't know what's happening. They can't control what's happening. They don't know where they're going. They're not planning. They've been set in this headless chicken type approach, and they're literally running around being very busy, but not doing a great deal about it. And then you've got a very small minority that are somewhere in the middle and are accepting that this is something they can't control. It's here to stay. The virus might improve things, the vaccine might improve things, but it may not, because it may not work on everybody. So they're really in the land of reality, and they're now doing things, they're making plans and doing things about it. And the same goes for people that are in the jobless arena. We've got headless chickens, we've got people in denial, and we've got a very few minority in this middle arena. And that is where the advantage comes, because we need to get you into that middle arena, because there are jobs out there and the businesses are going to give the jobs to the people that are not in denial and not chaotic, but actually want to get after things. It's common sense, really. But let's see whether it's common practice. But it'd be interesting to know, we've got an international audience here. We've got an international panel. It'd be interesting to know whether that fits, in the likes of India, in Asia, in Singapore. But so we've got a fascinating discussion ahead, I think, and we can help job seekers get on the straight and narrow and come out of this chaotic arena, out of denial, and get on with their lives. Put the right CV out there to the right organisations, because people are still hiring. That's my take currently.
In fact, Neville, the way you have described is you have put people in 3 buckets, and the most important bucket is the people who are in denial. And I saw an advertisement yesterday. The premier insurance company in India, they are now looking for new agents, and they are advertising on TV, which I've never seen in my life. So,
wow.
I mean, they are saying, please join us as agent through TV, because earlier that was something which was not really focused on. So I think there are jobs available if you see and look around. The previous jobs which were there before the pandemic are no longer available, but I think there are a lot of new jobs that are available. And with this, I would like to ask Farida. Farida, you work with the government and you have a very vast experience working with Asia Pac companies as well as European companies. In your network, what do you see? Do you agree with Neville, or do you disagree, or what is so different in your marketplace?
I think I do agree with Neville, because we do see, if we were to look at a broad classification, these are 3 types of people that you actually come across when you speak to people. And I have been kind of, thinking this through, and I feel that, okay, this pain which is going to come with this is inevitable. You can't do anything about it, but misery is optional. There is still a way out of it. So to a certain extent, crisis, drives alignment, and it allows you as an individual, a company as an organization, a government, everyone to move in a certain direction. Because you realize that a lot of it is fluff around you, but there are things which will still actually move. Yeah. And one of the things that I personally believe is never waste a crisis, because it teaches you something. It also, kind of makes you understand where the resilience actually lacked, and which are the areas which will continue to hire people, which will continue to, kind of come out of this, there would be new streams which would develop because there is a crisis, and everything which was happening before probably may no longer continue to happen. Some of these businesses might go out of business permanently. They might never recover, or they might never, because even though, people think that, things might come back to normal, but it's a very, very long road ahead, and nobody knows what the normal is going to look like. This is an opportunity for every individual, every organization to think differently and start thinking about what is it that we need, what is it that we want, what is it that we can afford as an individual, as an organization, as a country, and together as a planet. So to just, kind of bring a little bit of, my perspective to what Neville was saying just now is that there are new jobs which will be available. CK just mentioned something very new, which is a freelance opportunity. And, maybe people never considered it before. But yes, insurance will become very, very, it will become very important in future, because you don't know how this is going to pan out. Vaccine is still work in progress, and, SARS was 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago. We still don't have a vaccine. The thing that actually gives me a little comfort is that the SARS virus and the COVID virus are the same virus with separate strains. And human trials which were actually happening due to the SARS epidemic, it's the same vaccine with some different strains, and it's being used for this pandemic. But it's all hearsay. I mean, I don't kind of, trust that this will come through very soon. And human trials still take the time that they need to take. So so the community which is in denial, this might be the time to start looking at what you can do, because at least as a professional, I do not see things coming back to normal very quickly. For people who are getting very upset with all of this, I think most of us have been there. But look at the bright side, because there will be new opportunities, there will be new arena. And people who have already aligned themselves, good news for you is that yes, you might not get the kind of jobs that you actually, probably had a year ago or so. The kind of pay scales which will be offered, which is going to be distinctly different. You don't know how the structure is going to look like in future, but there are jobs available. They might not be aligned to probably your education and your experience, but there will be new things. And there are governments which are pushing this as well. Like for instance, in Singapore, there are new jobs which are either being created or they are coming up as a result of this entire chaos which is happening. For instance, digital ambassadors. The digital ambassadors are people who could come from any kind of educational background, who could come from any kind of experience. These are people who will be trained to become digitally savvy and then go and train people who are not digitally savvy, so that everyone actually comes at the same page. So this is a new kind of a job. It might not be what you've done before, but it's available. So just to kind of bring all of this together, my perspective is that there is pain. More pain will come because schemes like furlough, or the subsidies which the government is offering to companies to keep the workforce are going to go away. No government can afford this forever, and more businesses will close down, because without revenue it's going to be very difficult to continue sustaining. But there will be new things which will come out. So keep your eyes open, ears open, and keep your mind open most of everything.
Excellent, Farida. I think you made the moot point here that there will be new opportunities, and I think one thing that I liked a lot is you mentioned about digital ambassador. I think there is a clear need for this, and I personally, as a professional, feel that there are a need for a new type of role in the industry, which is something like digital ambassador. And I think let me invite our third guest for this discussion. Is Kanchan works with universities in India and schools. What I've noticed is that almost like every second or third day, there is a new app coming related to some sort of training or education. But all these apps are available. There are Byju's and there are so many others already available. But are the school adopting it? So my question to Kanchan would be that our business leaders have already described that there is a group of people which could be very large in numbers is in denial, and there are opportunities available in some other arena, but the education and university, are they training their students to leverage these opportunities? So Kanchan, what is your opinion on this one?
Well, CK, these are quite crazy times because there's pandemic and people are suffering. But I will take a little a positive approach towards this, because in previous months we have seen the most job loss happen only in leisure and hospitality industry. According to one research, it is 47% job loss happen in hospitality. But as I said, I will be taking more positive view, because and little India centric, though many countries are working and fighting for this kind of jobless and people management. But what I feel, we have two great options which is introduced by government of India. One is Make in India and one is Modern India. So when we talk about Make in India, then there's a lot of companies who are setting up their companies in India, and thus it is creating a lot of job opportunities. Now, when we talk about Modern India, the government is also stressing on digitization of many services. Now, for example, if I have quoted hospitality. So hospitality industry is closed, but there are chefs who are running their education um, uh, uh, courses online. So then they have the opportunity, and they are moving towards making something good. So I believe that though there's a job loss, but then, as Farida said, you have to be open your eyes and you have to open your ears to find out where the job opportunities are there. I feel there's little pause phase now going on, but it'll kickstart.
So, Kanchan, I think I just continue asking on this path where there are opportunities and people have to reskill. But I think we have discussed in the past in this program where we have already pointed out that the skill which are required are not being taught by the universities. And what we see, at least in India, I can talk about that the schools are still waiting and watching. They are in that denial mode. I think as per the Naval's category, all the schools in India are in denial funnel. They are not looking at the aspects that you pointed out. For example, if you look at the investment by Google in Reliance Jio, $5 billion of investment, they want to develop indigenous 5G platform. So when 5G comes, the chefs who are running their education courses will have a ball on this platform because they can run multiple things with a lot of creativity. But the education is still lagging behind. They are in denial. What is your advice to these people?
I think because they are denial because they are looking for a better time to come. They want that maybe the time which were before pandemic it will come. But I think things have. I mean, water has flown and things will not be changing for a longer time. So maybe sooner or later they are struggling. Actually, many schools are struggling with the technology and with digitization. But I again said I am quite positive that they will overcome, because in every industry there are some people who don't like change. There are some people who like change, and generally people and the management who like change always win. So I'm quite hopeful for that.
Neville, mankind is a very resilient species, and we are going through, like you already mentioned, that unprecedented. You might have heard so many times, but I think let me use this word again, that the mankind is a very resilient species, and they are going through this unprecedented times. What do you think is the takeaway from this discussion? What people really should do to get out of the denial mode?
Well, they're going to have to look in the mirror and make sure that they know where they are, whether they're in chaos, in denial, or they're actually doing something about it. It's been a fascinating discussion already, and this is such a big topic. What we've got to remember is that COVID really has just accelerated all these thought processes. They were already there prior to COVID. Now, the education business gap was there. It got bigger during COVID, to my surprise, mainly because universities have gone more into denial. They've been more focused on improving their own digital presence. And remember, we're in the fourth revolution, which is digitization. And Farida mentioned this one word that is used quite often, but actually not really understood. And before I say what that word is, the World Economic Forum has for the last 4 or 5 years been publishing lots of future job profiles. And they published just before COVID the future of jobs in the next 5 years. And they were saying basically that 40% of jobs are not even identified today. So maybe your insurance company that's looking at lots of freelancers, there you go, there's the word. We're going to become a global community of freelancers. There's no more jobs for life. There's never been jobs for life actually since I got a job, frankly, which was many, many years ago. You're going to freelance for a period of time. You may be under contract, but I can see organizations literally moving towards fixed term contracts for everybody. Now, that's just, I don't know any facts apart from a few organizations, large organizations, that I've seen move in this direction. But the freelance community is going to be huge. It's huge already, frankly, but it's going to be much, much bigger. And this is where job seekers, you've got to get out of this denial arena. You've got to look online, go to respected resources. Don't follow the shiny objects and fake news. Ignore all that. Look what governments are saying officially on their notice boards. Look what the best employers are saying on their notice boards. It's there, it's evidenced. All you've got to do is go and look at it and start thinking. Because sooner or later you will see that the evidence will actually start to change your belief. And that's a good situation, because now you're getting a kick of reality, not a perception. Perception will keep you in denial or in chaos. The kick of reality will narrow you down this middle road, let's call it, having the right attitude and being in control of your own destiny. So my advice to everybody is start reading, start Googling, but don't look at fake news. Don't look at the shiny objects, and certainly don't follow government leaders, because frankly, a lot of them are bouncing around saying they're in this middle road, but they've got no idea. Some of them, they're feeling their way. And I feel for them, actually, because again, sadly, these are unprecedented times.
So there you go. You mentioned that once again. But I think some of this stuff that you mentioned is very important. Is one takeaway for me personally is never believe the politicians, because among humans, they are the most opportunistic people. So we have to look for ourselves, not be in denial, don't get cue from the politicians. So with this, I'd like to ask Frida, any closing remarks from you?
Yeah, sure. I will just actually kind of, take a little bit further what Neville was saying and try to, articulate it in my way. If it helps people, it's fantastic. So, sky is not the limit, it's just the view. So basically, when you actually talk about freelancers, I'm specifically talking about the gig economy. Now, that's something that's going to be huge. The reason being, like Neville was saying, there are no longer going to be secure jobs. So I would break it down that there would be tasks, and there would be people who would actually perform those tasks, and there would be people who need these tasks performed, and they would be willing to pay for it. So there are professionals, there are, even if there are, there are people who have been in a job for very long, they've been cocooned as an employee, suddenly they are in middle of everything, this pandemic, and they realize that it's not going to be easy to find something. So keep an open mind, go to respected resources, see what is it that can leverage your skill, because still work is happening. Industries which are very badly impacted are, aviation, hospitality, luxury, to an extent retail. But then, there is work happening, like e-commerce is growing because that's the only avenue where people are actually shopping nowadays. Hospitality is not like, for, countries like Singapore are trying to do local tourism boost. So something is happening, but it's not going to go back to the pre-COVID times very soon. So keep an open mind, look at what other avenues are available. There should be opportunities which can actually utilize a skill set you perhaps have not used for a very long time. And it might actually just come into use right now. Maybe you're very good at writing and you haven't done it for a while, and there are copywriters which are needed all the time across so many platforms. So keep an open mind, there will be opportunities. It's dark, but then, waiting for the goal, don't miss the silver lining.
Absolutely, very well summarized, Farida. In fact, one of the takeaway for me and for my viewers is that somebody has taken your job, because the jobs are just around the corner, as from the panelists we realized. But nobody can take away your career. So all you have to do is look around and see what are the new opportunities. So with this, I'd like to thank all the panelists today, Neville, Farida, and Kanchan. Thank you very much for joining us.
Been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye bye.